channeled away so that you don't get a dangerous buildup of fat on top of your grill that you have to do something with, or it can overflow and thermal event. But also those fats, when they drip through the holes, they will hit something hot underneath the cooking grate and they'll create smoke. So you can still get a smoky barbecue flavour from your food even though you've cooked it on a grill, because the fats will be draining away. And any excess flare up, you've got a solid cast iron cooking grate plate in there that will prevent any flame from getting anywhere near your food. So sometimes the only accessories, people get bamboozled. If you go inside, Russell has literally every product that Weber has in the UK. He prides himself on being the only stockist in the UK that stocks the entire Weber range. Some other stockists kind of play at it and they have a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and you can tell the sense where the buyer just doesn't get it. Russell has everything, and when you go in there you can get a little bit overwhelmed, am I right? And you think, oh my god, what do I need? You only need the accessories that allow you to cook the food that you want to eat. That's it. If you think about any product in your home, in your life, with the exception of those little fads that you went through, you only have things in your life, generally speaking, that allow you to do things that you want to do. Yeah? If you think about your kitchen, we probably all have a 3-pan sauce set, or 3 saucepan set. We probably all have a frying pan, a roasting tray, a couple of flat oven trays, and after that, it's different. If I'm into baking, I'm going to have scales, I'm going to have springform tins, I'm going to have muffin trays, I'm going to have baking beads, you know, the little blind baking beads, yeah? Ceramic beads. If you're not into any of that stuff, you leave that for me to buy. You go, some other sucks will buy that. I'm going over here. And if I'm into Asian food, I'm going to have the wok, I might have the little sushi mats, I might have the Chinese knives, the Japanese knives for the sushi. And if I'm not into that, I'm going to go, that's it, I'm not going anywhere near that. When you go in there, just think, what do I want to cook? And that's which accessories you need. You don't realise when you go in there, some accessories are just for charcoal barbecues, some accessories are for the Qs, some accessories are for the gas, some accessories are for the big gas, some accessories are for the smoker. And if you just go in there and just go, I don't need any help, I'm just going to go over in, you can sometimes end up with a product. You might end up with a product that you've actually got 2 things that do exactly the same thing. So you've actually bought one thing that you don't need. These little trays here, they have an illustration of either vegetables or fish on them, right? If you line that with baking parchment, you can bake a cake in there. You can do a focaccia bread in there. You turn it, if you put fish in there, if I was doing maybe some pieces of fish fillet, slices, little fillets of salmon, I might put the salmon in there because the holes are much closer together, so there's less chance of it kind of settling between and then, you know. However, if I put that in there, and I try to get in the edges with my spatula, I'm going to break up that fish. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to put my fish on there, because guess what? That surface area is the same as that surface area. Yeah? Okay, a little bit facetious, sorry. But if you then put your spatula there, you can get level underneath it, and you can take off your food without any, you know, your fish without any kind of breakage in that piece. If I wanted to, I could use that as a roasting trivet to lift your food off the cooking grate. Put a foil tray underneath it, put some holes in it to allow the fats to drip through. Don't tell Russell has told you that. This is a product that does that, but put some holes in the bottom to allow the oils to fall through. You've got a makeshift roasting trivet with a heat shield. Yeah? You only need the things that allow you to cook what you want to eat. So this has just had the asparagus in it. Let's take these off here. One of the downsides of the packaging is that really you can't put on the packaging all the things that are possible for that product. So if you look at the wok that goes in the cooling system, the cast iron wok, it shows a stir fry because that's what everybody associates with wok. But over the last few years, I've done a chili con carne in the wok. I've done a turkey curry in the wok. I've done risotto in the wok. I've done mules in the wok. It's just a pan, but it has the potential, because it's cast iron over a direct heat, to get incredibly hot. So when you do your stir stir fries, yes, they're going to be great. But also, if you do your chili con carne and you want to sear that mince off before you put everything else in, you're actually going to get caramelization on that mince rather than stewing. But if you heat it on an indirect heat, you can do a risotto and sweat off your celery and your onions for your sofrito very softly, not colour it at all, and then you can pour your wine, your arborio rice in and crack that, and then you start with your wine, and then if you try to put risotto rice on a grill, no chance. Okay, so you only need the accessories, but also, there isn't always the possibility of showing everything that the actual accessories are capable of. So you've just got a little bit of imagination. I'll give you another example. I met the MD of Weber India a few years ago, and they run cooking competitions for regional chefs to enter into and kind of see what they're made of. One guy was making naan breads, and Shiva, the MD, had never seen anybody authentically make a naan bread on a barbecue. So he thought, I'm going to stick around and see how he does it. So he stuck around and he did the naan bread. He put it on the pad, and he got the lid to the temperature that he wanted, because the lid's the same temperature as the thermometer. And he lifted the lid, and he stuck it to the underside of the lid, and put the lid back down again, and he cooked a naan bread on the underside of the lid. Wow. Yeah? Okay, right, let's get some food on the go. Might be a bit of excess of dripping. We're not counting calories, are we? Right, so we'll start with ribs.
Have you got a little memory?
Yeah,
It's going to eat that.
I've got 128 gigabytes.
Say, blimey.
Let's just have a quick check on this. I don't want to go past. One thing that I don't think I mentioned, the drip tray underneath. Who has charcoal? Yeah? The ash in the bottom of your barbecue. Cleaning it. If it stays nice and dry, it's dead easy, isn't it? If it's all clumpy because you've had fat drip through, bit of a nightmare. Put a drip tray underneath it. The drip tray captures all the fats. There's quite a lot of fat in there. Granted, I used the same drip tray from this morning and didn't empty it out, but all that fat would have been in the bottom. It would have made all my dry ash clumpy. It would have drained through into my ash pan or my collector or the little thing down there. It would have made a horrible mess, and then I would have had to have cleaned it. We just put a drip tray. They're called drip trays for a reason. They capture drips. And also, if you don't get any ash in there, you can add that to your gravy. You can skim it off, add it to your gravy. One of the biggest complaints that I hear about roasting on your barbecue is that you don't get juices to gravy. You're not capturing them. You need to capture them to get them into your gravy. Okay, just put that there. Right, ribs. I'm going to get these across. Green boards. No, and I haven't told you how I cook these, have I? No, that would probably be quite useful. So, yeah. Because the people this morning got to see the prep, but they didn't get to taste them, and you get to taste them and didn't see the prep. When you get them, there's a membrane on the inside of the rib that needs to come off. If you use the tip of a blunt table knife, if you take the tip of a blunt table knife and you run down the inside of one of these bones, blunt because you don't want it to cut the membrane, run it down there, get all the way through to the other side, and then put 2 fingers in the gap and a finger underneath. 2 fingers hold the rib, the rack in place, and then you just literally pull that up and it just spreads out and it takes the membrane off the entire length of the rib. If any gets stuck on there, just grab a piece of kitchen paper and just use it because they're quite slippery. And then all I did was put some of the barbecue rub, the pulled pork barbecue rub, on the meat side, on the back side of the ribs. Stacked them 4 high, put them on the barbecue with the smoke being produced because they're raw, so the smoke goes in when it's raw. Set my timer, well, somebody set their timer for 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, take the top 3 off, put the bottom one on top. The top one's had 15 minutes of smoke. You take the one from the bottom and you put it on top. Any juices that are kind of soaking down, get back on top of the stack. You keep your ribs nice and juicy, another 15 minutes. Move the top 3 over to one side, take the bottom one and put it on the top. Rinse and repeat till all 4 have had 15 minutes on the top. Then, basted the top of each one with barbecue sauce. And it was this barbecue sauce here, the sweet and spicy Mississippi barbecue sauce. Basted the top, and then I wrapped them. And if anybody's done ribs, then one of the quite a lot of recipes say to wrap in foil. Foil goes quite brittle when it's heated, and ribs go quite sticky when they're cooked. So if you have brittle foil and sticky ribs, it sticks together and you end up pulling foil off the end of your ribs instead of just tucking into nice food. So what I do is I wrap them in parchment first, which doesn't go brittle, and it keeps all the moisture in, and then I wrap in foil because parchment doesn't hold together in the same shape as a parcel, and then you just cook them for another 2 or 3 hours. And then you saw how I tested them. It's that easy. This is on a smoker, so this is going to take about 3.5 to 4 hours. On a gas barbecue, these are working muscles. Yeah, every time you breathe, your ribs move. So these are working muscles. The intercostals need low and slow moist environment. If you cook them less than 150 degrees, they'll be fine. So on a charcoal or a gas barbecue, indirect, less than 150, smoke for the first hour. If you're only doing 2 racks, cut them in half. You've got a stack of 4. Yeah, they need that hour at the beginning of cooking. And if you're doing more and you don't need them, just put them into what you can do, and what I do when I do events and I make them ahead, is once they come off at this stage, lay them out on oven trays in the kitchen, cold oven trays. Just lay them out, get them cold within about half an hour, restack them, re-wrap them, get them in the fridge. And then if you wanted to, you could actually put those in the freezer, and you could bring them out, defrost them, and reheat them on your barbecue. Temperature check to 75 degrees so that they're safely reheated, and away you go. Yeah? Nobody's paying attention because you just got I know how it goes when things starts to go. I'm just going to slice these so that they actually stay in nice shapes. So you don't need to go to a restaurant to get these. I actually think when you go to some of the restaurants, there's not enough smoke on the food, and they tend to overcook it, and it's not as good as it can be at home. It's just, they're not actually that difficult to do. If